Joplin business owners talk about how things are changing with the expiration of the city's mask mandate as the city discusses lifting other restrictions. Miami teachers received their second doses of a COVID-19 vaccine.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Joplin City Council votes to make changes to the city's COVID response and recovery plan. This is KOAM News at 10. Council members tonight took up the plan at their regular meeting. After discussion, council voted to make 2 changes to the plan. One, to remove the mass gathering restriction of 250 people, and 2, to remove the social distancing requirement for all restaurants and churches in the city. It's that mass gathering part that drew the attention of some event center owners, including Fallon Anawalt. Anawalt tells us the restrictions have led to a reduction in people wanting to host events because they can't have the number of people they'd prefer. She hopes the change will encourage more people to get back to scheduling events and gatherings. The city of Joplin allowed the face mask ordinance to expire effective today. It means residents won't have to wear a mask into businesses unless the business chooses to require it. At Body Accents Tattoo Studio, everyone who walks through the door will have to wear one. They say it's to keep customers and artists safe since they spend a long time close to one another during a tattoo session. At Blush Boutique, employees will continue to wear them, but masks will not be mandatory for customers.
I guess I'll just leave it up to each individual. I mean, the mandate has been lifted, so I feel like I can't put a sign on the door, but I think most people will still wear their mask.
The face mask ordinance was first enacted in July and was allowed to expire in August. Then it was reinstated in November and just expired again at midnight this morning. Oklahoma continues on to their next tier of vaccinations, which includes school staff. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with the superintendent of Miami Public Schools and with a teacher to see the impact this will have on in-person learning.
Oklahoma is moving forward with their vaccine rollout. Next on the list is teachers and school staff. For educators, it's been a long process to get to this point. Miami Public School Superintendent Jeremy Hogan says they've been able to team up with local community partners in order to get vaccines to their staff.
Integris Miami, Bearskin Health through the Wyandotte Nation, and also Northeastern Tribal Health Center have stepped up to help provide the vaccine for our staff.
Hogan says a little over 60% of the school district staff have received their first dose, with some even on to their second. Chrisanne Lamb, a Miami middle school teacher, will be getting her second dose later this week. Lamb, who's been teaching in person since December, has already battled COVID, so she says being fully vaccinated makes her feel better about her job.
There is hope for us to get out of this sooner. It was really feeling like COVID was going to last a couple years, 2-3 years of us having to do these things.
She says getting the vaccine helps her feel one step closer to returning to normalcy.
We're doing what needs to happen, and so this is just another step in the process of us getting out of this sooner.
Hogan says that the most important part of this vaccine effort is that it will allow for more in-person learning,
which will help us tremendously with classroom coverage, not having substitutes, having to shift the whole class or maybe a school site to virtual learning. So it's going to help greatly.
Most importantly, it will help keep their staff safe. In Miami, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
While some staff received their second dose of the vaccine this week, the rest will have the opportunity to get theirs next week. Nick Kelly joins us now with a first look at the weather. And Nick, I think we could say that March has come in like a lamb so far.
Yeah, we're very thankful for that after kind of a rough February, Dal. But it was a cold start this morning for sure, with lows around 26. But again, lamb-like conditions today. Mostly sunny skies and dry air. Got us back to 53 this afternoon. Mostly clear skies, so what we've seen all day long and all evening long so far. That being said, I am watching a weak storm system that wants to pass just to our south. Right now, centered over the Texas-Oklahoma border. It could play a role in our forecast by tomorrow morning. But for now, it's cold already, with most spots in the mid to upper 30s right right now. I think some spots in the Kansas side will drop back into the middle of the upper 20s, so everybody else holds right around the freezing mark. That system might graze some counties south of US 60 with a stray shower in the morning, but after that, another nice day with highs near 56. We'll break down the rest of the forecast here in a bit now.
All right, we'll catch you then. Thanks, Nick. Kansas state officials encourage people to apply for help from the Low Income Energy Assistance Program. This is for anyone with high electricity bills after recent frigid temperatures. The program is federally funded and helps households pay a portion of their home energy costs through a one-time per year benefit. This year's application period goes through March 31st. City of Miami is reminding its electricity customers the bills will likely be higher, but it's because of using more electricity during the cold temperatures. The city says the price per kilowatt hour has not changed. Still ahead, we're going to have the latest on vaccine distribution nationwide as another vaccine joins the fight against COVID-19, and why the White House is still concerned about COVID-19 variants spreading across the country. As of today, nearly 77 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccines have been administered in the United States. That's according to data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Today's numbers are about 1.7 million doses higher than the day before, making for a 7-day average of more than 1.8 million doses per day. More than 15% of the population has now received at least one dose of vaccine. Nearly 8% have been fully vaccinated with both shots. The newest vaccine joining the fight against COVID-19 comes from Johnson & Johnson. But some health experts worry Americans might turn up their noses at this latest vaccine. Johnson & Johnson's vaccine had a slightly lower efficacy rate than the other two on the U.S. market, fueling concerns that some may not want to get the one-dose shot. Johnson & Johnson's vaccine was tested in South Africa, where a variant believed to be more contagious was first identified. There, the vaccine showed a 64% efficacy overall, but in the U.S., the vaccine showed a 72% efficacy rate overall. And against severe forms of the disease, it's even higher, offering nearly 86% protection.
The endpoint that I think really matters is the endpoint of preventing severe disease, especially severe enough disease that causes hospitalization and death, because ultimately that's what we care about.
Experts say the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is also a game changer because of the ease with which it's administered. It does not have to be stored frozen. That means it can be more easily stored in doctors' offices and community pharmacies. 500,000 more Missourians become eligible for COVID vaccines starting 2 weeks from today. The next tier of vaccines begins on March 15th. People in that category include K-12 educators, child care providers, government workers, and others in professions considered critical infrastructure. Some Missouri residents currently eligible for the first dose of the vaccine can get it for the next couple of days in Carthage. The Jasper County Health Department and Missouri National Guard will conduct a clinic at the Carthage Fairview Christian Church tomorrow and Wednesday. People should call the Jasper County Health Department for an appointment. You can find COVID-19 resources on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Those resources include vaccination numbers for your state and community, as well as the latest updates concerning vaccination clinics. You can find those same resources on the KOAM News app. It's available absolutely free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. All you have to do is search for the KOAM News app. 28 million COVID-19 cases have been confirmed in the U.S. to date, along with 514,000 U.S. deaths. Madeline Rivera reports from Capitol Hill.
Johnson & Johnson is shipping 4 million doses of its new coronavirus vaccine this week. It's the third approved for emergency use in the U.S. and the first that requires only one shot.
We're getting these doses out the door right away to ensure vaccines get into arms as quickly as possible.
So far, over 50 million Americans have received at least one COVID vaccine dose. The head of the CDC is warning that the pandemic is far from over.
Now is not the time to relax the critical safeguards that we know can stop the spread of COVID-19 in our communities.
But some states are easing their coronavirus restrictions. Massachusetts eliminated restaurant capacity rules on Monday and gave theaters a green light to reopen.
Here on Capitol Hill, all eyes are on the Senate as it debates President Biden's nearly $2 trillion COVID-19 spending bill.
The American people sent us here with a job to do to help the country through this moment of extraordinary challenge.
The measure includes funding for vaccine distribution, coronavirus testing, and $1,400 stimulus checks for most Americans. It would also provide aid to cash-strapped state and local governments. Republicans say it contains too much unnecessary spending.
House Democrats rammed through the bonanza of partisan spending they're calling a pandemic rescue package. Only Democrats voted for it. Both Republicans and Democrats voted against it.
The first vote on the bill could come as soon as Wednesday. Madeline Rivera, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Advisors to former President Trump said he and First Lady Melania Trump were both vaccinated before they left the White House in January. The FDA has authorized another at-home COVID test for emergency use. The federal agency greenlit the Quidel QuickView at-home COVID-19 test. The nasal swab test is for someone who's experienced symptoms of COVID-19. It can be used on patients as young as 8 years old. With the QuickView test, you do not have to send out for test results. The company says it takes just about 10 minutes to get those results. Colored lines on a test strip indicate if you're positive or negative, similar to some home pregnancy tests. Nick Kelly is up next with his complete forecast. And later, it's playoff time for the Pitt State women. We're going to hear from the Gorillas as they prepare for the opening round of the MIAA tournament.
After a chilly end of the weekend, with some storm systems rolling on through and giving us some rain chances yesterday, we looked a lot better for today. From sunrise to sunset, that was our time lapse from Indigo Sky just outside of Seneca, Missouri, showing how we looked all across the area for today. And it did help us rebound after a cold start this morning. After we saw afternoon temperatures yesterday in the lower to middle 50s, we dropped back into the middle to upper 20s. So definitely a cold start this morning. Then a nice rebound back into the lower 50s this afternoon. But once we hit sunset, it was back into the chill, where 35 in Joplin feels like 31 with just a bit of a breeze out of the south at 5 miles per hour, but it's all because of the dew points at 27. That dry air took us from the cold start to the 50s today, and that same air mass is cooling us down fast, not just in Joplin, but all across the four-state area. 32 already in Iola, 35 in Welch, 39 in Monette, 41, the lone 41-degree reading on the board in Cassville, but everyone is set for a cold night as we head into our Tuesday. The Skywatch storm tracker, again, mostly clear, mostly sunny all day long. A wider view showing maybe some rain across parts of the deep south from Houston, working through northern parts of Louisiana, and around Tupelo, Columbus, Mississippi, in the northern parts of the state. At the surface, doesn't look like anything big's on the way. We are going to get a south wind back in here for tomorrow, but it's upstairs I'm keeping an eye on. First and foremost, this upper low centered across the Oklahoma-Texas border, that will graze us by tomorrow morning. Then we'll focus on the upper low near San Francisco. That one, I think it'll give us a better rain chance by the time we head toward Friday. In the short term, though, we'll still keep an eye on this upper low that's going to pass just to our south. But I'm showing you the most aggressive run of the future track that we have here. And even then, it may bring in a few random clouds for areas south of US 60 and maybe a stray shower. But again, those chances are very slim. Looks like the bulk of that moisture with any meaningful rain chances will stay across eastern Oklahoma and along the I-40 corridor in Arkansas. Once we get past that, tomorrow morning, we're in good shape for the rest of the day with mostly sunny skies and that southwest breeze really kicking into gear. That's going to take us from 32 in the morning to 52 by lunchtime and pushing afternoon highs to about 56 across the region, maybe some upper 50s on the Kansas and Oklahoma side. Wednesday morning, we're cold again, mostly clear, but that south wind means mid-30s for overnight lows and into the mid-60s. Looking pretty good as we head toward Wednesday. That's because once we get this upper low out of the picture by Tuesday afternoon, it's all about that upper ridge, pushing the jet back to our north. That, with partly mostly sunny skies, keeps us in the mid-60s during the middle of the week. Then as we head toward Friday, that low out near San Francisco, that's going to slide and give us a better shot for widespread rain as we head toward the start of our weekend. Then that clears on out, and we look good for the rest of the weekend. So let's spell it out in the 7-day forecast for you. 56 tomorrow. Again, a few spots south of the US 60. Might see just the slightest chance for a random shower in the morning. Then we're dry and good for the rest of the day. Mid-60s with partly to mostly sunny skies Wednesday and Thursday. Only 50 for Friday with that better shot for clouds and rain across the area down. Then we're back near 60 on Saturday, and 60s hold on for early next week.
Oh, I'm loving the sound of that, Nick Kelly. I know the vernal equinox hasn't come yet, but technically the meteorological spring has begun, and it feels like spring. So,
hey, if spring comes early, I don't mind either.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Nick. Still ahead, it's been a pretty good school year for Fort Scott senior Malachi Vann. It started with all conference football honors and continues now on the wrestling mat. Sports director Jacob Leonard has more next in sports.
It's playoff time for the Pittsburgh State women. The Gorillas are the number 6 seed in the MIAA tournament. They'll face 3rd seeded Nebraska Kearney in the first round on Wednesday night. Now, it'll be the second meeting of the season between the two teams. Kearney won the first one 57-53 in Pittsburgh back in January. Now, the Gorillas need to win this thing to stay in the hunt for the national tournament, but they are confident heading into their second look at the Lopers.
I feel like most of the things that happened to us were self-inflicted, and so if we just focus on minimizing our errors, the rest should take care of itself.
It doesn't really matter where you ended at as long as you're in the tournament. It should be something that our kids are excited about, and it's not in Kansas City, but nonetheless it's a chance to play for a championship and possibly make it to the national tournament.
The Carl Junction girls open up the postseason tonight, hosting Harrisonville in the Class 5 District 12 semifinals. CJ rolls in this one 66-31. The Bulldogs will host Webb City for the district title on Thursday night. Fort Scott senior Malachi Vann is having a senior season that most only dream about. Vann won a state wrestling championship over the weekend, the latest achievement of an impressive final season as a Tiger. Malachi Vann is leaving his mark in his senior season at Fort Scott High School.
It's been kind of like a dream, really. It seems almost everything has kind of went as planned. I mean, it's kind of what you would want.
Just so relentless when he wants something.
Vann won a 4A state wrestling championship over the weekend in Salina.
It was definitely something I've been just chasing since I was I don't even know, beginning, 4 years old, really. I mean, it was just crazy. I knew that I was just going to run up to my dad. And you can see there's a video. I just ran up and jumped into his arms. It was pretty funny. But I thought it was a pretty sweet moment. And I feel like we've always been kind of just hoping and kind of knowing that it was coming sometime.
His wrestling state championship was preceded by a special fall season on the football field. Vann led the Tigers to a 7-1 record, a conference championship, and was named the SEK Offensive Player of the Year at quarterback.
He's just a phenomenal athlete and an even better young man. Works hard every day, very coachable. His teammates respect him. Coaches love being around him. And when you have those characteristics, you have a chance to be successful, and that's just what he's done.
He's got this charisma that he can get people to follow him, and he can keep things loose, and he's funny. And then when it's time to go, he goes.
Vann says he plans on throwing for the track team this spring, but he's already put his name in the Fort Scott history books, and after a few years away, he's happy he's done it in his hometown.
I think coming back here and getting to do it with everybody that I kind of grew up with, all my friends from middle school, it was really fun to get to come back and do it with all of them.
I'm going to miss him dearly. I've known him and his family for the better part of 15 years, and he can't be replaced on the football field or on the wrestling mat.
Vann is not the only Tiger to bring home a state championship. His teammates Kobe Burchett and Jacob Stinnett also won in their respective weight classes. It's the first time in program history Fort Scott has had 3 state champions in the same season.
It was an unbelievable feeling to sweep in the finals with the 3 that we had there. I couldn't have written it any better. I've coached the 3 champions since they were 5 years old, and when they transitioned to high school, I transitioned with them and got the head job, and it was kind of a storybook ending that we wanted, and we knew that they had the potential to do those things. It was just going to be a lot of hard work and game planning and trying to peak at the right time, and they did that.
That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran, Private First Class James Vinson. The Golden City, Missouri native served in the U.S. Army, and we are proud to salute Private First Class James Vinson. He's tonight's 4-state hero. We have thousands of these veterans in our database, and you can learn about any of them. You can look them up by name or by hometown. And we're always looking for more heroes. You know of a veteran, tell us about that person or a currently serving service member and nominate them to be a hero. It's very simple to do. You just go to our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. There are breakfast sandwiches, breakfast burritos, and now a breakfast pizza? Yeah, in Iowa, restaurants causing quite a stir with this new addition. Fong's Pizza is now serving the Loopy Fruits Pizza. It comes with sour cream and cream cheese sauce, topped with mozzarella, Fruit Loops, and drizzled with Greek yogurt and condensed milk. Oh, yum. Yeah, I don't know. They call it a pizza. The pizza parlor's manager says, well, it's not a crowd pleaser like classic pepperoni. People are excited to try it because I guess people will try anything once. Second time, maybe not. But, you know, it's there. People will try it. Nick Kelly, what say you to that?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I like Fruit Loops, but when you try to make it a pizza with like a sour cream and cream cheese base, and not to mention mozzarella cheese, I mean, some things are good mixed together, but I don't think that's it.
No, agreed. All right,
in the meantime, though, weather's looking a lot up. Let's say 56 tomorrow, maybe a stray shower for our very far southern counties early during the morning, but for many of us, the rest of the day is looking just peachy keen. Let's go 65 Wednesday and Thursday. Next spot's best shot of rain, if I can say it correctly. We'll hold off until Friday now.
Thanks, Nick, and thank you for joining us. Let's take care of ourselves and each other.